next Sunday in American politics, but we know you'll be all over it. Shannon, thanks very much.
Thank you, Mike.
Let's go back to my
Hi guys, welcome to Chimera Squad. I got it modded, so if you want to see the mod list, just right down below, just click on it, no big deal. It's only about like, I don't even know, like 8 mods or something like that, so it's not really hefty. So, it's easy to mod. I don't even use the AML for this. I just use the regular launcher. It seems to work out fine. I mean, it's only like 8 mods, right? So no big deal. Xcom 2, I have like 400 mods, I think, running in my Long War campaign. We'll go normal. Extend timer. Disable tutorial. I hate the tutorial in this game. Okay.
Seventh has already done that, and so we expect to hear a lot more of that in the hours ahead. But there's something else I should point out that will likely dominate the news for at least part of the early part of next week, and maybe even beyond, because as you heard our colleague Shannon mention, now things begin to turn just a bit like the Republicans do in response. I don't mean with respect to the vice president, I mean with respect to the president himself. The speaker, Mike Johnson, already out in a statement saying, and I'm quoting now, if Joe Biden is not fit to run for president, he is not fit to serve as president. He must resign the office immediately. And so you have heard people talk about the whispers of the 25th Amendment. That will likely percolate even more in the days ahead. Now, what that means for the Democrats is, does that mean we move off immediately and maybe you elevate Kamala Harris as president against former president in November, giving her the Kamala leadership? Or do you simply say, let's let the guy have his term and let's focus on the battle at hand, which of course is November. If you're a Republican on Capitol Hill, these are real serious questions they'll have to consider, Mike, in the hours ahead. Like, of course, we're entering a massive week in American politics as it is, when you've got the Secret Service Director expected on Capitol Hill tomorrow, Wednesday, talking about the assassination against former President Bibi Netanyahu, and then Netanyahu coming to town to meet with President Biden to address Congress. Your thoughts? Yeah, crazy week, and really thankful that you're on the desk for us today, and I suspect you'll be quite busy as well. Okay, Kevin Port left the road and other people still are where thank you so much. Now let's go to my colleague Alexis.
Let's start with Sacred Coil.
Michigan, where former President Trump was yesterday, along with his running mate, J.D. Vance. Alexis, good afternoon.
Hey, Michael, what crazy news cycle here. I mean, the former president was nearly assassinated a week ago. Now he's reacting on his social to this breaking news. Yesterday here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, he stood on that stage for the first rally with his now VP pick, J.D. Vance, and they talked about, hey, well, they didn't even know who the Democratic nominee was going to be. He was just confident that no matter who it is, whether it's Kamala Harris now or President Joe Biden, they were going to beat them. So I'm going to kind of look back at some of those moments that happened not too long ago here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Trump saying, this, I would, say, we're going to find out shortly who the nominee is going to be. I don't know who it's going to be. Let's do a poll. Then he kind of looked to the crowd, like, and asked everybody, do you want me to run against Kamala Harris? Do you want me to run against Joe Biden? And people booed for both. But people in that line that wrapped around that arena, not far behind me in Grand Rapids, Michigan, in this battleground state, said they were confident no matter who he picks for his VP job, and no matter who he runs against, they believe in certain areas in the Rust Belt, they're going to be able to turn those states red, including going to Virginia, where we know that J.D. Vance is going to be coming here in his rally on Monday. He's going to Ohio and Virginia. They're really going after those states to try and flip this area. We reached out to the Trump campaign, asking for reaction. At this time, they're still trying to get all that together, and as we reached out, as you saw, the former president took to his own social media, trying to kind of bash Joe Biden, saying not only was he incompetent and was never able to run and should drop out, he shouldn't be running and continuing if he's not going to be the nominee. So we'll have to see how this all plays out. We're going to talk to some voters here, too, in this battleground state to see what they think. But I don't think many people that we've talked to on the ground in the campaign trail are going to be surprised that Biden dropped out. We've heard all of those names kind of pulling in on a daily basis, very important names to the Democratic Party, and seeing some of them op-eds come out from some celebrities that have raised so much money for him. So people thought after that poor performance on the debate stage, where it kind of put Joe Biden in the spotlight in a negative way, that he was going to drop out any day.
Alexis, not surprising, we heard former President Trump last week tell our colleague Brett Baer that he was not going to refer to Joe Biden by name during his speech. He let it slip once or twice, but clearly the Trump campaign has been thinking about the potential of this happening and facing someone else, whether it be Vice President Harris or one of these governors.
That's right, yeah, and he didn't talk too much about Joe Biden, either to JD Vance. They mentioned him once or twice by name, as you said, maybe it was a slip, maybe it was on purpose, but he just talked about whoever was in the White House and how it wasn't going well and how they were looking out for the average American, and that's where the campaign is focused now, right? When you look at parts of Pennsylvania, Michigan, Ohio, even parts of Virginia where they're trying to flip, and even Minnesota, they want to talk to those people that feel like they've been left behind by the establishment in Washington, that don't feel like Joe Biden, when he was in office, really put their needs first. When we come to inflation, we come to the borders. That's what they hear all on that stage. But it was a different tone after the former president was nearly assassinated a week ago. He kind of had more on that.
Well, one escapee. That was fast.
American people, but definitely big breaking news. What a news cycle here. I mean, I think people, we were just at a local restaurant trying to take a moment before when we thought we had a break and we could hear that news. Talking about that inside that restaurant, saying, hey, that President Joe Biden is not running for re-election. And one guy shrugged and said, not surprised to see that debate. So that's what we're hearing on the ground in Michigan.
Alexis, we have battleground Michigan, a critical state that will likely decide this election. Alexis, many thanks. To recap the breaking news this afternoon, President Joe Biden has decided that he will not continue on as the Democratic nominee for president, and opening up the possibility of his vice president, taking over the Democratic nominee. This has been Fox News breaking coverage. My colleague John Roberts is going to be stepping in here momentarily to take over our breaking coverage as we look at the news of the hour. President Biden announcing he will not continue as the Democratic nominee. Eventually giving his full-throated support to his Vice President Kamala Harris, asking donors to support her, to give her money. We know the money trail had dried up for the Biden campaign. Now he's asking them to support her, saying, quote, today I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. So, huge earthquake in American politics. You've got a change at the top on the Democratic side. You've got a convention coming up in Chicago. It's not entirely clear how things will play out in the weeks ahead as we head towards Chicago, whether it will be an open convention or whether the party will coalesce around Vice President Harris. But it's been quite an afternoon in American politics. And my colleague John Roberts is standing by. John, well, I don't know if they've got an
On the go.
Yes, apparently they did. What an afternoon. And we knew, we had some idea that this was going to happen. There were reports out last week that he might decide to drop out as early as the I had thought that he might wait until he's over his COVID infection so that he could actually come out and make a public statement to say, look, I've done some soul searching here. I've looked at the numbers. I've talked to the campaign. I've consulted with my family, and the decision is that it's best for me to step down. I did not think that he would do it in a paper statement. And so I'll be talking to you all about it in person later. So it's interesting, really, the way that all of this went. Prime Minister was in Italian, and so that also is a complicating factor. He's got to be leader of the free world at a time when he's saying he's going to be stepping aside. But in his statement, he said, I'm stepping aside to focus on the rest of my term. And a lot of people have said, listen, if he's not strong enough of a candidate to stay in the race for president, to get a second term, well, he should step down as president as well. But if you look at the last time this happened, in March of 1968, Johnson was told, finally realized that the path to re-election is obviously going to be fraught with a lot of peril. It's best that I step down and leave it to somebody else. He finished out the term. Right. Hubert Humphrey eventually became the nominee, lost narrowly in the primary to Richard Nixon, got blown away in the Electoral College. But Johnson stayed on through the rest of the term. Now, of course, the situation was a little bit different. Johnson was a younger man. He was in full possession of his faculties. He wasn't subject to some of the problems that Biden did.
Fuck you, stink.
Biden's a lame duck president now, and he's just got to sit out the next 6 months. Other people have been helping him run the country up until this point anyway. So I don't think there's going to be much argument in the overall about him staying with it until January 20th of next year. Because most presidents who are in his position just kind of cruise off into the sunset very slowly. But it will be interesting to see if Kamala Harris becomes the nominee, what the process is going to be to get there. Or if other people are going to suddenly throw their hats through it. Because who knew, 2-3 months ago, that Biden was actually going to step down. We were told by everybody who wanted to back public on the Democratic side that he is the nominee. He's going to be standing over the best chance to be Donald Trump. Now suddenly folks have decided that that's not going to happen. We're looking for Kamala Harris as the next link in the chain. But I think it's quite possible that other Democrats will come forward, Mike, and say, you know what? She's not the strongest candidate. Because there was some internal polling that Politico covered from an outfit called Blue Labs. They found that Kamala Harris, by about 3 points, did better than Joe Biden. But people like Mark Kelly, the senator from Arizona, Gretchen Whitmer, the Michigan governor, Wes Moore, the governor from Maryland, Josh Shapiro, the governor from Pennsylvania, did far better against Trump than Kamala Harris. So what we're now having a discussion in the Democratic Party, wait a minute, not so fast. Let's not be so quick to anoint Kamala Harris. Let's go through a process here where we consider all of our possibilities and permutations and combinations when it comes to a nominee and running. And who would be the strongest candidate? Or the Democratic leaders look at it and say, she stops the bleeding. Let's pour our resources into the Senate and House races to be in check on any future Trump presidency. He didn't give away the put her in knowing that he caters to Donald Trump and sitting down Belarus. And that's one potential. Kevin Cork was talking as I was practically receiving to get in here. Kamala Harris being sort of the presumed heir to Joe Biden might start the fundraising up again. Because nobody else can take that money except that campaign. Right. Now you might be able to figure out down the road how other folks, whether it be a Gavin Newsom or whether it be a Gretchen Whitmer or whoever, how they can get their hands on that money. But at the moment, the only people who can use that money are Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So, sort of putting her name, I don't want to say putting her name in the nomination there. You have the Joe Biden signing a fully supporter, might get the dollars flowing again into the campaign, and then at some point in the future, they'll figure out what to do with that. But you have what the others say, we're not doing anymore. That ultimately take that campaign. And, once the money dries up, you're done. And we knew last week there was time to stick before the war, right? All of those donors said, the money's drying up. That's the kiss of death. When you don't have any more money coming into your campaign, you've got to either compete or you've got to step down and leave the campaign. Pelosi's camp, Schumer's camp, making it clear that the side was really uncomfortable. Team furious, but the damage was done. So you don't know that the real push started happening. There were a lot of whispers. The push happened the night of that big fundraiser in Hollywood put on. When Biden was standing very stiff, like with a 1,000-yard stare in his eyes. And Barack Obama came up and grabbed it by the wrist and let him out like, come on, Grandpa, it's time to go back to the picnic with the cake. And put his hand on his shoulder, first of all, but then on his waist and let him out. The way I perceive that, I'm not saying this is what happened, but the way I perceived that was, this is Barack Obama saying, it's time for a change. And then the whispering campaign began. David Axelrod, the very most of Obama, was out there leading the charge on this. And then George Clooney did the op-ed, which had been run past President Obama. And he didn't say, no, George, you can't send that out. I was like, okay, go ahead. And then when Adam Schiff came up, he was a proxy of Nancy Pelosi. And you knew that the writing was on.
Let's save this.
Fascinating times in American politics. We thought it was going to be a boring campaign. 2